Starting this meeting, recording now. And as a gentle reminder, and as always, you have, oh, I want to use a highlighter for that. You do have a math quiz this week. It's going to be on the fun stuff we're going to be covering today. And so today's objectives for this live class are going to be to see if there are any initial questions. Of course, you can always ask questions as I work through new concepts or new problems with you, which I will definitely be doing in this live class, but you can ask me questions now as well, especially as they pertain to the Khan Academy videos posted and any of the Khan Academy exercises. That's acceptable. And when we're done with that, hopefully that won't take us long, or maybe you don't have any questions right now. And we'll get into reviewing some ideas that were covered, but also get into some new ideas and provide you with practice problems. The less interruptions I have, if you have questions that are good questions, great, but the less interruptions I have, the more likely I am to make it to the end. It's just a matter of time, of course. So if you provide me with more bandwidth and more time, I can go a little further with you all. So I'm going to go ahead and begin by Good morning, everyone. Okay. Good morning, everyone. So, can everyone hear me okay? Perfect. All right, you all. So, great. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to begin right away. We have quite a bit to cover, and if we end a little bit early, that's great. I also like to encourage everybody, when possible, not when possible, to always, because it's almost always going to be possible to come on time to class, so that we can get started really early. So the first thing I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to, as usual, choose moderators. And I want to go ahead and stress how important it is to have moderators, and moderators that are taking the job seriously. Iris, you can be moderator 1, and Max, you can be moderator 2. Okay, we're off to a great start. So I think that's good. Let's go ahead and get right to it. I'm gonna switch over to my iPad. It always means I have to get out of this interface for a couple of seconds, and I'll be right back. Also, make sure to have your notebook with you in case we talk about a few terms here and there, and also for working out new problems that I will definitely introduce to you all. Okay, I'll be right back. Do you have any major questions, any burning concerns? And you can ask, and I'll give you about maybe 2 minutes for that. Total time. Okay, moderators, you let me know if anything does come up. Okay, Mackenzie, go for it. Correct, and that's a really good question. Yeah, and so my new rule for you all to help you out, I'm always trying to adapt, is you don't need to, it's not mandatory to take notes during live meet. Okay, so not mandatory. Having said that, if you want to take notes, That's great. Okay. The second thing is I am going to be covering a couple of new terms today, or concepts, better said. I'm going to be defining what an integer is, so you may want to take notes on that. If you want, this meeting is also recorded, which means you can watch it later with more time. Okay? And I'm going to be giving you some practice problems, and I'm going to introduce how to add and subtract integers, which is something that you maybe need more work on and the video didn't address too well. Okay, so that was my big answer to that question. Any more burning questions before we get rolling? Love it. Let's go, everybody. An integer. An integer. This is the term that I said I was going to define. This is super important. And let me pick the highlighter tool again. It's really, really important that you know what an integer is, because it's just going to be like, you're going to see it forever now. And basically an integer includes the following, you guys. It includes any positive number, positive whole number. Whole, that's important. It includes 0. Let me make that a different color. And it includes any negative number that's the opposite of a positive whole number. So basically a whole negative number. By the way, that's not a term. We call them negative integers. Negative integers. So I'm wondering in the comments if you can just write one example of either a whole number that's positive or a negative integer, or you can write 0, because those are the 3 categories that make up an integer. And later on, not now, I'm going to ask you what an integer is not, to see if you can tell me what that is. So whenever you're ready, go ahead and type in the comments an example from any of those categories. And moderators, you let me know what you're seeing. Yeah. So that's good, Sloan. Yeah. Yeah. That's not necessary. All you need to do is just give me just an example, and it could be a simple one. So Sloan, you mentioned that people wrote 2, and that's great because 2 is a positive integer. It's a whole number. And if you put a positive in front of that, it means the same thing. People also wrote anything that's a whole number that with a negative in front of it, that's called a negative integer. And then last but not least, 0. There's only one 0, and it's considered an integer as well, also an integer. By the way, fun fact, the whole numbers include 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All of those are integers, but 0 is included as a whole number, which is weird, but it's the truth. Okay, now that we have integer done, integer is really easy. It's like just a whole number that is either positive or negative, but also includes 0. Okay. Now, this is a number line, and if you're wondering what I'm referring to, I'm referring to this here. That's a number line, which you know. Now, what you have here is 0, okay? And to the right of 0, you pretty much know what I'm going to say here. I'm going to go ahead and put the positive integers, 2, 3, 4. It keeps on going to positive infinity. And you can put a plus if you want, but I don't, because you know why? Because I'm efficient. So it's fine if you want to do it. It looks great, but it's like a little bit more work. To the left of 0, we have negative integers. We also have negative fractions, negative decimals, but we're not talking about those. We're talking only about integers today. So you have negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4. Mackenzie, what's your comment? We did. The problem with learning things before is that the human brain tends to forget. So I just want to be 100% sure that we're all on top of it, Mackenzie. Yeah, it totally was the same word. So we did learn integers already. I'm just reinforcing it because it's so core to what we're going to be doing next, everybody, which we're going to be getting into algebra, or the very beginning of pre-algebra, like baby pre-algebra, which is still super fun. Okay? So if I ask you all directions, order the following, and if you're wondering what the following is, these all, order the following integers, which are all random, okay, in random order. Order them from least to greatest. It's really important that you notice that I said from least, oh, I keep on doing that one, highlighter, from least, okay, to greatest. This is really important. I wonder if you can do it, but before you even, actually, you know what? Let's see if you can pull it off. I'm curious. Try and see if you can order those numbers from least to greatest. Ready, set, go. Okay. Aha. Interesting. Guess what? I made an error because I did this with 5a already, and I am very surprised that you guys were so on top of it. They are in the right order. Allow me to demonstrate why. Good job, guys. I'm really proud of you. So here you have a 0 in the number line. Anything to the right of 0 is going to be greater than 0 and also greater than anything to the left, which means that positive 1 is greater than anything else to the left, including 0. And positive 4 is the greatest number that I'm actually showing here. Okay? What that also means, everybody, is that negative 4 is currently in this number line the lowest number that I am showing you in the diagram. Okay? It's also the most negative number in this diagram. Okay? In this number line, the most negative. So the most negative is the most negative in this case, but it's also the lowest, which means it's much lower than 0. That's how the number line works. So you're right. What I wish I would have given you, if I would have been a little bit more astute about this, is I would have given you in random order numbers like this for you to have put in order. And let's pretend that we're not looking at this right now. If you were just looking at these numbers, does anybody know which one would be the lowest one? Matter of fact, go ahead and order those real quick. And try and be faster than me. Yeah, that's it. This is from least to greatest. Now, I think that might have been Cosmo that said that. Cosmo, really important when you say the number 2, make sure that in this case you meant negative 2. You always have to say negative 2, okay? Because if you just say 2, you guys know where I'm going with this. It's going to be positive 2 that people are always going to think you're referring to. No pun intended. Okay? Okay, you guys. I think you're getting it so far. If you don't have any further questions, I'd love to get to the next piece. Does anybody have any questions so far? Okay. All right, now we're getting to the good stuff. Here we go. I'm going to show you how to add and subtract integers. It's not as simple as you might think. First rule to adding and subtracting integers is this. When you're adding and subtracting integers, rule number 1, I always keep on doing that. Okay, rule number 1. When the signs are the same, okay? Now, the signs are positive or negative. You add the numbers. You add the digits, okay? So in this case, let me make it a little bit smaller here. You would, because the signs are the same here, you're going to be adding 2 and 3. Now, I'm going to let you know why the signs are the same, because in case you don't quite get it. And then the second part of rule number 1, everybody, is the answer keeps, oh, that's not right. No, Mr. C. The answer keeps the sign of either, just keeps the sign. How's that? Because both signs are the same. All right? Keeps the sign. So let me show you something. Nope. Come on, behave, iPad. Okay. When you see 2 plus 3, now this is important. Here we go. It's all important, but I just say that so you guys can focus. When you see 2 plus 3, this is a problem you guys have seen forever since you were really little. Okay? What I want you to now start to do is I need you to change how you look at this problem, because now you're going to start to deal with more advanced thinking. Unfortunately, what this means is you have to unlearn a little bit of what you learned before. You see that too? It has a sign. You need to go ahead and show what that sign is. It's a positive. For now, we're showing it because it's important. That positive is connected to the 2 inextricably. It belongs to the 2. Now you see this plus here? You are led to believe that that's just a plus. And it's kind of true and it's kind of not. That plus is a positive and it belongs to the 3. So you see, the way you used to see it was the way you had to in order to be thinking about math at a lower level. But now you understand that these numbers have signs that belong to them. Now the signs are the same, which means you have to add the 3 and the 5. Okay? So when you add the 3 and the 2, you get 5. And because the sign is plus, and it's the same sign for both, just keep that sign. Okay? So 3 plus 2 equals 5. Done. That's why it equals 5. Now that was easy. But look at the one on the bottom, example 4. So, exactly the same idea. The negative belongs to the 4 here, and this negative, which is used to think of as a minus, belongs to the 7. The signs are the same, so add 7 and 4. It's going to be 11. And because they're both negative, keep that negative for the answer. Okay, keep the sign. Okay, I'm going to give you another example. And that example is going to be down here. It's just an extra one for you because I did these for you. I want you to answer this. No, let me give you one along the same lines. Okay, answer that. Tell me what that gives you. You can go ahead and add it in the comments. Okay, so negative 13 is what it is. Yeah, it's okay. It's all right. I mean, the way we say it is negative 13, but I understand that we're still getting used to it. So negative 13 is the answer. Good. And you know that because the signs were the same, so you added the digits, and you got negative 13. Now remember you all, I am recording this, and I'm hearing a lot of ambient noise and thrusting about, you guys, so if that's your house, go ahead and mute for now, okay? Okay, new rule. Here we go. This is an equally important rule. Rule number 2. When the signs are different, okay? I'm going to do it in red. When the signs, excuse you, when the signs are different, you subtract. Okay, I'll say it again. When the signs are different, you get the difference of the two numbers, you subtract. The answer gets the sign, so the answer gets a sign of the larger digit that's involved. Allow me to demonstrate. Okay, so you have 2 minus 3. Here's what I'm not telling you. It's actually a positive 2, which you imagined because there was no sign next to it. And then you have a negative 3. The signs are different, so you're going to get the difference of 2 and 3. Don't worry about which one comes first. Don't get involved in that. Just get the difference. The difference of 3 and 2 is 1. Okay? Now, here's a tricky part that most people fall prey to. What number is normally bigger? A 2 or a 3? Comment it in the comment box. What number is normally bigger, a 2 or a 3? A 3 is normally bigger. Look at the sign that it has. It's negative, so the answer gets a negative. Okay? That's the rule there. Okay, try example number 6. Get it right. Go. Okay, as you're solving that, remember that this 6 is negative 6. This 8 is positive 8. The difference, see the signs are different, right? The difference of 8 and 6, easy. I don't like that color. White. It's 2. What's normally bigger, an 8 or a 6? Clearly an 8. And it's positive. So the answer is positive. Moderators, did a lot of people get positive 2 for that one? Okay, perfect. Any questions so far? Okay, so this class ends technically at, moderators, do you remember what time this class technically ends? At 11:20, so 11:17. Let me know when it's around 11:17, moderators, please. Okay, now let's move on. Let me see what I have here. Okay, so I have a couple more examples. If you want to go ahead and stick around, technically the class is ending. If you all want to stick around for example number 7 and example number 8,